of the United States. I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, we wish to thank the Special Envoy of the Secretary General, Madam Christine Schreiner-Bergener, for her thorough briefing about the situation in Myanmar. On the whole, we concur with the assessments that you have voiced, and we support the desire to continue shuttle diplomacy. We consistently are of the view that seeking ways to resolve the situation, including ensuring the return of IDPs and humanitarian issues, that this needs to be done in a constructive and apolitical manner, above all, bilaterally between Bangladesh and Myanmar. We would note that international assistance needs to be delivered both to Bangladesh and to Myanmar in a neutral manner with respect for the sovereignty of both countries. We voice our hope that Myanmar and Bangladeshi dialogue will continue, including with assistance of the Special Envoy, all constructively minded parties, as well as the whole of the United Nations systems in line with the mandates. We note with satisfaction that the recent visit to the region of the Special Envoy of the Secretary General was on the whole carried out in a constructive way. Indeed, it is necessary to build bridges, and we agree with you on this, Christine, not to burn them down, and you can count upon our full support in this, including vis-a-vis confidence building and support for direct dialogue between Dhaka and Naypyidaw. We welcome the focus of the Myanmar people to forge constructive cooperation with ASEAN. We believe that this regional organization can play a very useful role. In early February, Rakhine was visited by the delegation of the Secretariat of the Association and its Coordination Center for the Delivery of Humanitarian Assistance in Emergencies. The ASEAN Emergency Response and Assessment Team is being launched. We support these efforts. What is gradually gaining ground is the activity of what Naypyidaw established, namely an independent commission of inquiry into human rights violations in Rakhine. In late January, Myanmar was once again visited by foreign members of the Commission. We are pleased with the fact that the Commission, as has just been noted by the Special Envoy, is not renouncing dialogue with international structures. What remains in operation is what was announced on 21 December last year by the military command. That is a ceasefire up until 30 April. The authorities, to our knowledge, stand ready to engage in peaceful dialogue with the Rakhine Army, provided it renounce violence and separatist demands. Mr. President, dealing with issues pertaining to joint peaceful coexistence in Rakhine of the representatives of various ethno-religious groups, including issues related to the granting of citizenship, freedom of movement, access to social benefits, and so on. This needs to be addressed in the spirit of the recommendations in the Annan Commission, as well as in a manner that accounts for the national legislation of Myanmar. For our part, we consistently advocate a balanced, non-confrontational approach in addressing the situation in the country and seeking ways to normalize the humanitarian situation in Rakhine State, including dealing with the issues of displaced persons. We note that the country's authorities are assiduously seeking to implement the recommendations of the Annan Commission to fully resolve the crisis. We wish to take the advantage of the fact that the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh is present here and pay tribute to the diligence and patience of the Bangladeshi authorities and ordinary people. Their efforts need to be proactively supported by all of us. What we highly value are the measures undertaken by Myanmar to deploy on Rakhine State soil, to deploy the necessary infrastructure for the hosting and accommodation of future repatriants. We believe that the key to resolving the refugee issue lies through relations between the two neighboring states. An treaty and legal basis agreed upon by the parties and the existing coordination bases between Myanmar and Bangladesh, in our view, helps to ensure that immediate practical measures can be taken to that end. We view as counterproductive the policy of artificially dragging out the repatriation process and its launch. We do not support attempts to politicize this matter. Addressing the issues and the problems of the return in Myanmar are not facilitated by such actions. We call upon UN staff working on the ground to bear this in mind. Your professionalism and impartiality will determine a great deal. At the current stage, what is a priority in our view is the establishment of international assistance to eradicate the most urgent humanitarian consequences of the crisis. At the same time, we call for it to be borne in mind that the deep-rooted problems in Rakhine are multifaceted and complicated in nature. The only way to resolve them is exclusively through peaceful political diplomatic avenues, through establishment of dialogue between Naypyidaw and Dhaka authorities and representatives of all ethnicities and faiths. We stand ready to continue to deliver assistance to the governments of Myanmar and Bangladesh in resolving the situation around the Rakhine state in the spirit of equality and mutual respect. Once again, we would call upon all Security Council colleagues, as well as states in the region, to act in a conscientious and restrained way to avoid a relapse and escalation of the situation. To conclude, I wish to thank our Equatorial Guinean friends. Their presidency is culminating today. We worked very constructively and productively this month, and we wish every success to our French colleagues as they take up the presidency tomorrow. Thank you for your attention.
Agradezco al señor representante.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation.